existence.
That's my true power!
Hello fellow exiles. Right here you can see my Stormweaver instantly deleting every pinnacle boss in the game. This isn't some perfectly rolled showcase character. This is a realistic League starter build that can achieve these results. The performance is possible because of some key changes this League that make Lightning Conduit Archmage incredibly effective again. Why did I choose to go with this archetype from 0.1? First, GGG reduced pinnacle boss health pools by 40 to 60% this League, making one-shot builds much more achievable. Second, they buffed Archmage from 3% to 4% extra lightning damage per 100 maximum mana. Most importantly though, the new Infusion system feels clunky and unreliable for League starting, so I wanted something proven and dependable. The core strategy is simple. We stack maximum mana and use that single stat for both offense and defense. Our massive mana pool feeds into Archmage for enormous damage scaling, while damage taken from mana before life lets that same mana pool tank a big portion of incoming damage. This dual-purpose approach makes the build incredibly efficient to gear and scale. I'm going to show you exactly how this build takes advantage of Stormweaver's unique mechanics to hit 1000% more damage on Lightning Conduit. If you've been frustrated with the new Infusion system or want a proven League starter approach, stick around. If you enjoy honest build guides, please consider subscribing. Let's start with the core mechanics that make this so effective. The Arcane Surge path provides incredible mana regeneration and 20% damage taken from mana before life. The Double Shock path lets us apply two separate 100% shock debuffs to enemies, which is where Stormweaver truly shines compared to other ascendancies. Lightning Conduit gains 25% more damage for every 5% of shock magnitude on the target. Since Stormweaver can apply two separate 100% shock debuffs simultaneously, we're looking at exactly 1000% more damage from this interaction alone. Add Archmage scaling from our large mana pool, plus the shock debuffs on enemies for 200% increased damage taken, and we can instantly delete endgame bosses. The key to making this practical is using Spellslinger that come with a dueling wand. Lightning Conduit normally has a terrible cast animation that leaves you standing still for a second. When socketed in Spellslinger, Lightning Conduit bypasses the cast animation entirely and becomes instant cast, even usable during dodge rolls. You charge up Spellslinger energy by casting spells, then release Lightning Conduit instantly when needed. While its 8-second cooldown is still there, this transforms Lightning Conduit from a clunky skill into a responsive nuke button.
Now let's get into the practical details, starting with our defensive choices. Our defense centers on having a large portion of damage taken from mana before life, which has several key advantages. Unlike energy shield builds, we don't need to invest much passive nodes in recharge mechanics because Stormweaver's Ascendancy provides massive mana regeneration already. This system handles damage over time effects very well, which is crucial for this league's ground damage over time effects across Abyss. Most importantly, since we're already stacking mana for Archmage damage scaling, this defensive layer scales naturally with our offensive investment. For the percentages, we need to match our mana to life ratio. If your mana pool is twice your life pool, you need roughly 67% total. If mana is 3 times your life, target 75%. With 4 times the mana, you want 80% or more. Here's how we reach these numbers. Stormweaver's Force of Will Ascendancy node provides 20% baseline. The Lucidity passive cluster gives another 16%. We need 40% or more from gear to hit our target range. Body armor should ideally be of a feathered raiment base for 10%, or have at least 15% damage taken from mana before life as a suffix if using other base types. Then we socket the Great Wolf's Runes of Willpower for additional 10% each. I'm currently at 73% total, which works okay, though more than 80% would be optimal. For our mana pool, we're targeting 5000 or more maximum mana. Every piece of gear that can roll maximum mana should have it. Rings and amulet need both flat maximum mana and percentage increased maximum mana. We take Eldritch Battery to convert all energy shield to mana, so we also prioritize high energy shield on all defensive pieces. Our damage scaling requires reaching 100% shock magnitude. Arc provides 50% more shock magnitude inherently, which is our foundation. We stack additional shock magnitude from several clusters on the passive tree. Corrupted gloves with at least 2 sockets should contain non-damaging ailment magnitude runes for 40% increased shock magnitude. The key piece is Darkness Enthroned Belt, with the modifier making its sockets count as glove sockets. In my case, with 94% increased effect of socketed items, we socket another 2 non-damaging ailment magnitude runes for a total of 76% shock magnitude increase. This single belt can provide most of your shock scaling. For weapons, we absolutely need a dueling wand with its Spellslinger skill. As mentioned before, this bypasses Lightning Conduit's terrible cast animation. The wand needs +3 or higher levels to spell skills or lightning skills, plus increased spell damage or lightning damage, or having both. Other valuable modifiers include cast speed, intelligence, and maximum mana. For runes, +1 level to spell skills is optimal, though 25% chance to fire 2 additional projectiles works as a budget option for better arc clearing. The focus shares the same priorities. Levels to spell skills and increased spell damage are mandatory. Increased lightning damage, maximum mana, or cast speed provides additional value. Your second weapon set uses a chiming staff purely for Sigil of Power. It's better to have a cast speed modifier on it and prioritize higher item levels for better sigil levels. The amulet should ideally have +3 levels to spell skills. All rings and amulets want maximum mana, percentage increased maximum mana, resistances, and mana regeneration rate. For spirit requirements, we need 139 total spirit. Characters have 100 base, so we need 40 or more from gear. This usually comes from body armor, since finding both spirit and skill levels on an amulet with correct stats could be expensive. Armor pieces prioritize high energy shield, since Eldritch Battery converts it all to mana. Don't forget a silver charm with slow immunity for this league's widespread slow effects. With the gear covered, let's look at how we allocate our passive tree. The POB is in the description. For Ascendancy, we take Constant Gale and Force of Will, as well as the Strike Twice node as our foundation. I haven't done the 4th Ascendancy yet, but if you do, you may grab the 2 small Remnant range nodes, as there are nothing else worth taking. Please note that this passive tree isn't suitable for leveling use. You'd better reach level 80+ before switching to this setup. Our character is at level 92, and most travel nodes are intelligence. The build uses weapon set 1 for shock and damage, while weapon set 2 for curse and exposure. First, starting here, go this way, we allocate efficient casting for increased mana cost efficiency. We need them since Eldritch Battery doubles our costs, while Archmage adds additional mana costs per spell cast. Then we allocate stripped defenses and zoom of control on weapon set 2 for increased exposure effect and curse area. Get alternating current for increased shock magnitude on weapon set 1. Going up, get overexposure on weapon set 2 and empowering infusions on weapon set 1. In this jewel socket, I have a From Nothing diamond for Mind Over Matter, allowing me to allocate Touch the Arcane and Breaking Point. Then we picked Ritual Cadence Keystone node, as it gives invoked spells 50% less energy cost, directly benefiting our Spellslinger setup, since Lightning Conduit becomes available much sooner. Take Eldritch Battery, which converts all energy shield to mana while doubling mana costs. Then Arcane Intensity and Raw Mana. Archon of the Storm provides 25% more lightning damage after spending 100% of maximum mana, which triggers easily with our high mana costs. While it has a 20-second cooldown, it provides invaluable damage buff during boss encounters. Then, Pure Power and Power Conduction on weapon set 1, and Master of Hexes and Lingering Whispers on weapon set 2 for curse bonuses.
Back this way, Ingenuity on weapon set 1 and Preservation on set 2. In this jewel socket, I have a Sapphire for a total of 27% increased shock magnitude. Then take the path to Lucidity for a total of 16% of damage is taken from mana before life and 15 intelligence. Down here, this jewel socket holds another Sapphire for 27% increased shock magnitude. We take Conservative Casting for 15% increased mana cost efficiency. Then grab a total of 30% increased shock magnitude nodes here on weapon set 1. We also take the cluster of Storm Surge and Unbound Force for shock magnitude and lightning penetration. Back on here, grab Wild Storm for 15% more maximum lightning damage. And finally, on this jewel socket, I have a Heart of the Well jewel for 23% chance for lightning damage with hits to be lucky, which combined with Lightning Rod Anointment on Amulet reaches 53% total lucky chance for more consistent high damage rolls. Now for our skill choices and support gem combinations. Since this league allows reusing support gems, we focus on several core caster supports: Considered Casting, Controlled Destruction, Rapid Casting 2, and Zenith 2 for most of our setups. Arc serves as our main clearing skill and for applying shock. I've socketed Sion's Temper, the advanced version of Wild Shards, which gives Arc a chance to generate additional projectiles that shoot in all directions. This greatly improves our mapping clear speed. A note for Lightning Conduit. Remember, it's socketed in Spellslinger on our Dueling Wand. Don't put Considered Casting in there, since it doesn't work with trigger skills. Snap is useful for manual remnant generation when needed. It consumes elemental ailments on enemies and creates corresponding explosions while providing remnants. Since we mainly apply shock, Snap primarily produces lightning remnants that fuel Arc. Frostbomb handles our exposure application, while Elemental Weakness reduces enemy resistances by up to 113%, though this is halved against pinnacle bosses. Temporal Chains is specifically for Simulacrum and Delirious maps, where slowing enemies becomes crucial. Archmage is our core damage scaling skill. While active, with nearly 5000 mana, we gain roughly 200% damage as extra lightning damage, though spells cost an additional 6% of maximum mana per cast. Our Ascendancy mana recovery and cost efficiency nodes help sustain these costs. Finally, Siphon Elements provides a chance to generate remnants when shocking enemies, giving us additional remnant generation during normal gameplay. Now, let me be honest about how this build performs in practice. For boss encounters, this setup is absolutely dominant. The boss rotation is straightforward. Cast Sigil of Power for damage buffs, apply Elemental Weakness Curse to the boss location, then cast Frostbomb once the boss becomes attackable, and wait for it to apply full exposure stacks. Meanwhile, you should already be in Lightning Archon form from your high mana spending. Cast Arc to apply shock stacks to the boss, and charge up your Spellslinger energy. Once you see 2 100% shock debuffs applied, and exposure stacks at maximum, cast Mana Tempest to empower yourself, and immediately use Spellslinger to release Lightning Conduit. Most bosses simply evaporate. For mapping, Arc handles general clearing very well thanks to its long range and excellent chaining ability, even more so when lightning infused. With adequate damage, you can kill monster packs off-screen, which feels great for safety. For high health monsters or dense abyss encounters, adding Lightning Conduit deletes threats from distances. However, this build has clear limitations during mapping. Movement speed is slow. We're susceptible to stuns and ailments due to poor stun and ailment thresholds. Dense monster swarms and high burst physical damage can overwhelm our defenses if we get caught in bad positioning. The main advantages are obvious. Exceptional single target damage, capable of one-shotting endgame bosses, solid mapping capability with off-screen clearing, and a defensive layer that handles this league's abyss damage over time ground effects effectively. Having the instant Lightning Conduit available every 8 seconds as a nuke button means you can get out of trouble in most situations. The main disadvantages are equally clear: slow movement speed, poor stun and ailment thresholds, and vulnerability to crowd control effects. I haven't completed the highest difficulty simulacrum yet due to these defensive limitations. This approach revives a proven archetype from 0.1, while taking advantage of this league's reduced boss health and improved mana stacking. The combination creates a reliable league starter that can handle all content types with a straightforward gearing strategy. Drop a comment and let me know what you think about this approach. If you have any questions about the build mechanics or gear choices, I'd be happy to help. If you found this breakdown useful, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.